Cracking the Coding Interview by Gail McDowell is probably one of my favorite books to recommend to a programmer, developer, any friend that's really not sure what to do before their technical interview comes up. Honestly, this book hits on a lot of things that I would personally just recommend, and it's an easy go-to for me. It's a book that includes probably any topic, any type of programmer is likely to get, such as linked list, backend architecture, object-oriented design, and not only that, it has step-throughs and it shows the user exactly why certain answers are the way they are. She does note a roadmap of actually using the book. The very first thing that she includes is my gem for today, my thing I'm gonna tell any person that wants to get into the technical field or wants to switch, or honestly just wants to figure out how to set themselves apart in their next job interview. This video is not to get you to cracking the code interview, it's to get you to the job interview. Something that's not the most exciting thing to look over and to actually advise or revise is the resume. It's a dull process, but you kind of have to look at it as an investment. It's your first handshake with the employer. It's your first impression with the employer. As much as people kind of just want to put as much as they possibly can on there, I've personally reviewed 100+ resumes to hire a junior data scientist. I took away a lot of stuff from that, and I'll share a lot of those in this video. I know for some, the resume process can feel complex, maybe even dull, and probably leaves you looking not interested. But if you trust me, make the investment. It's something that you'll definitely be happy that you did sooner rather than later. So when it comes to working on resumes, one thing that you kind of have to keep in mind, you could go through an automated process, which means there's a few stages in the process. The first stage, it just takes anyone's resume that decides to apply, and probably the first stage of that is an automated filtering process. What you want to do in that case is to make sure that you are trying to match or have as many keywords as possible. So one quick tip, use some of the words in the description for the job that you want and place them inside of your resume. Besides that, one very imperative thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to capture the eye of the person that's hiring. So you want to take a dull resume and maybe add a little pop to it, because maybe having your name or having an accent color will set you apart a little bit more in the stack or pile of resumes that they have to go through. One very important thing to do throughout this process, as I talk a little bit more about this, is if you can, try to print out your resume and just edit it a bit and see how well it prints. Because although we are in an age where printers aren't in most homes, a lot of jobs will still print out resumes, especially when they're in the middle of the process. There are some must-haves. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be as unique as you possibly can, and so that you can show your personality through, but there are some things that you have to have. Name and info, pretty self-explanatory. Your statement of purpose, I personally don't think that this is necessary. I believe that even in my own experience of reviewing resumes, I honestly kind of skimmed over the statement, and even if it was good, it kind of didn't leave a lasting impression on me. So kind of user's discretion if that's what you want to go to. Next is your education. School, GPA. For me, I came from a small school, Cleveland State University. Had a decent GPA. One thing that I was always worried about when I was coming into the AI field was if my school name was gonna hold up against someone that went to a worldwide known technical college. And there's one gem that I'll share with you a little bit later for those people that feel like they went to a small school, they're going to a small school, or if you think your GPA doesn't add up to what your experience actually is. And after your education, the next thing that you want to put down are your skills. The biggest advice I can give on this is write down at least your top 2 or 3 languages as if you could get non-technical questions about them. For example, don't put down a language that you just fumbled around with for half a day and you're not comfortable talking about it. Now, if you want to learn more languages, my gym will definitely help you out and give you more confidence in writing down that programming language. And the last thing I think everyone has to note down is their experience. So where were you prior? What did you actually do? Just saying that I was a Python developer on a software development team in the marketing industry is not going to help you. I want to make sure that you are able to, brag a little bit about what you were doing. If your team helped bring in money or a specific app that you were working on help bring revenue in for the company. Make sure you note that. Employers are attracted to results and initiative. Results and initiative are extremely important. And if you can show that what you worked on was an initiative, so if you started a project or if you brought something up to the business and you were able to produce results out of that, and by results I mean metric, try to figure out, put on your business hat for a sec, figure out how you can write that down. If you don't feel like you have enough experience, you can also, if you're a student, write down some of your projects in class. Communicate how those experiences helped you learn a skill that got you into the job interview today. That's a very big thing I think a lot of students forget about. You're a student, the employer understands that, especially if you're applying for an internship. Use that experience section to kind of show the employer projects that relate to the field that you want to get into. The gym. The thing that is just going to help any person for the skills section, the experience section. If you don't feel like your education background is something that will get your hand through the door, the biggest thing I tell anyone is having a project section. What this does, it goes back to the two things I said most interviewers and jobs are looking for: initiative and results. If you show me that you came up with your own project, a self-project, and you were able to take it from an idea to an actual application or an actual model that you created, and you have results that you can speak to, that just speaks volumes to a lot of interviewers. And I know that that's a very big thing that not a lot of people actually do. That shows that you have an ability to have foresight. It shows that you're able to plan. It shows that you're able to get something done, and initiative and results. If you currently do not have a self-project, I would highly encourage you to try and find something and just honestly get going. What's the best way to get good at projects? Just do a project. So whatever field you're in, if you're a front-end developer, make a website. If you're a back-end developer, make a home server with like a Raspberry Pi. If you're in data analytics, data science, make a model. But I think every single person should try to make a project, because that's something that you can work on. It's something you get to pick. You can pick something that you're passionate in, or you can pick something that you want to learn about. And also, you don't have to wait around for a teacher, a curriculum, or a job to tell you what you need to learn. So by that, if there's a new programming language that you want to learn, make a project out of it. Something small, but something that has a start and a finish. That's the biggest thing. You have to be able to show some small bit of results to an employer to write it down for that project. If it is a project, make sure you write the goal of it or why you did it. Be sure to write down what your results were. For example, for me, I did a logistic regression model. I said what the accuracy score was. I said why it wasn't good. And then I put a next step sections under that. Huge thing to do. More to come on that. I definitely plan on making more videos to talk about projects. How I make a simple project actually look more complex than it actually is. Gotta be 2 steps ahead. And more to come from that. So if there's any projects that you guys actually want to know about, or you're not sure how to start from a project or how to figure out what's a good project, I will definitely post more resources and talk more about that later. Another huge thing where you can actually show a little bit more of your personality besides the project is the formatting. So I have a very bland resume, but honestly, I've had this resume since my freshman year in college. I was a resume reviewer. I've seen a lot of new formatting that actually was pretty refreshing to see. You can have an accent color if you want to. In addition, things like making your resume and adding a small column section on the right hand or the left hand side to show your skills or to show your education, and have the larger section of that column for your name info, your experience, and your project. And in addition to that, I would likely try to keep it to 1 page, front and back. Front and back is completely fine, because a lot of it is just making the first impression so that you can come to the interview and tell more of your story. In addition to that, you can use graphs or charts to kind of just show what your skill set is. Or I've seen people add a little personality and they use a graph or a chart to show how they spend their time. You should spend most of your time editing your statement if you want to keep it, experience, and your project section. And please, please, please make sure you check your spelling. I'm serious. I have seen a number of resumes where the spelling was off, and if there's enough spelling mistakes, it makes the interviewer think that you are someone who's not going to review your work before you turn it in. But remember, We just want to show initiative, we want to show results, and it's a first impression that you have control of. So if you want to add a little bit of personality in there by breaking down to an employer how you spend your day, that's totally fine. I know that a lot of people, they might get imposter syndrome a bit when they look at a job interview, or they want to apply for a certain job and a job says that they want a certain number of years of experience. Supposedly from Enhanced CV, it is a online blog that helps people with resumes. From their research, they've seen that most jobs that want 3 years experience, people are applying to those jobs with 2 to 2.5 years experience. So if you feel like you don't have enough experience, all you have to do, in my honest opinion, is make sure you have a project, you're passionate about it, and you work on it for a couple weeks to a couple months. And that will make up for a lot of years of experience that a job wants to see. All they want to be able to see is that you're able to show results and initiative. So if you can have your own self project, honestly, it'll make up for a lot of those years experience that an employer might be looking for and you might be nervous that you don't have. On the blog, there's a few more resources listed. There's a really cool AI model that is in beta testing that can create a resume for you called Article. Link's gonna be in the description for that, so sign up for that if you want to. There are more resumes in the description and on the blog below that you can definitely use and look into just to try to help you out and figure out what exactly you'd want to help make your resume. But remember, it's an investment, meaning you'll have to spend some time up front, but it's something that you'll be able to use years and years on end once you get it done. Also, a very good note, if you really don't want to start from scratch on a resume, Google Docs actually has resume templates that you can start from. There's some of the ones that I'm showing in this video right now, so you can just drop in and look at that. Hope you guys liked the video. Remember, like, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Give me insights, let me know when I did something wrong. Value by error, we learn from our mistakes, and keep learning.